part 5 of my Desteni experience, and been living here for 3 years. And I'm sharing points that has been faced and that I have done on the farm here. So, as one of the points, major points that I faced on the farm many times was fighting fires. Yes, this was interesting because living on the farm, you actually are constantly busy with the physical reality outside the system, if you want to call it like that. You have to consider physical points that include everything, not just yourself. So, as we are small community farms, if you want to call it, because it's not big like 1,000-hectare farms, it's a 24-hectare farm here, 24-hectare acres, if you want to call it that, and we live on a 7-hectare farm. So obviously if there's a fire starting on your farm, you don't want it to spread to all the fields. You don't want it even to spread to your neighbors, because then you are influencing them and you're having damage to their property and stuff, and you can be held accountable for it. So every year just before winter, because in winter obviously your grass goes yellow and brown and it's very dry, so it burns very quickly. So everybody has to do the borders of the farm, where you have a huge stretch that you burn out, and you can rotate the earth as well, because that prevents fire from spreading. And you can do it between your fields, so it doesn't, if a fire starts one field, you don't lose all your fields, because that damages everything. That if you have horses, the fields are supposed to provide food for the horses. If you have cows, the same goes for them. All the animals in the fields, you have to consider all of these beings, and why you have to be able to first of all fight the fire, control the fire, start a fire and know what you're doing with it, and you have to be able to handle that amount of smoke. There's a shitload of smoke that's constantly blowing into your nostrils, into your eyes, and your mouth. So my first experience was the first year that I was here. That was during winter, and that was just shortly after I came as well. Now, we cut the grass with the tractor around the fence, and we burned a little bit on the inside of the farm and on the outside. Now, fighting fire is no game. It's not easy. It's very difficult, and you have to be able to push through, because half of the time you can't breathe, the other half of the time you can't see, the other half of the time you feel like passing out from the heat or a lot of shit, because you're right here in front of the fire with a fire beating stick, and someone else is busy with water just keeping it in line. But fire jumps, because if there's wind picking up some loose hay that's burning, it jumps to the next part and burns. So you have to really keep your eye out on all of these things. Now, the first time I remember when I was doing the burning, I felt I was incapable of doing this. Fire is dangerous, it burns, there is firefighters that does this specifically, they're trained, I'm not. And so here people place a stick in my hand. We did it with our neighbor farms, 2 of them. One on that side of the farm, okay, I can't really show you. Anyway, and they helped us because we were new, and we were a lot of people. We were like, the neighbors was like, whoa, check all the people, that's great. And they gave us sticks, and we had some sticks, and we all were standing ready, and they were like, they take a little bit of hay, they light the hay on fire, and as they walk they rub this hay that's on fire onto the grass, and it starts burning everywhere. Now you have to stand by, because you don't want the fire to just jump to the next piece. And then suddenly there's a wind, or the fire just goes. It's like so fast. If you don't keep an eye on the fire and you look away and you look again, your whole field's fucking burning down. So I remember getting really emotional, like wanting to cry and just give up. Just wanted to give up, because I remember me and the rest of the guys, we couldn't see. It was like so bad. Our eyes was tearing and there was black coming out of our eyes and we couldn't breathe and we were overheated. So we would like jump in, one would go out, jump in, other one goes out. We'd like make turns. And it's really like crap to not be able to breathe. You're like, and you just want to run out and not do this. You just want to quit, go away. But you're seeing the other people, the people that's been doing this for years, they handle it like it's nothing. They just go at it. And also you have this huge stick that's pretty heavy and you're like smacking down and you just can't. It's always becoming emotional. But then I had to force myself that same day, immediately, I had to force myself to breathe. No matter how thick the smoke is or what, I have to breathe. And I have to stop the emotions that was coming up. Because then I will get burned, or I will put everyone else at risk because I was emotional within applying myself within this task. Now, I had to stop my emotions, my feelings of giving up, of not wanting to do this. I can't. It's too much. It's too heavy of a burden. I'm not supposed to do this. Someone else should be doing this. All bunch of crap come up fighting fire. But I had to stop in that moment because I realized my responsibility, and if I do not take action now, then it's gonna have consequences, and huge ones. So I stopped and I started smacking the shit out of that fire, breathing and focusing and going for it. So it became all like physical. There was no crap in the head going like, you can't stop, And now, this was small fire, this wasn't even big. This was like, the fire was about, let's say, 1 meter high, the highest fire, and it was a small stretch of 2 meters, sometimes 3 meters, I'm not sure about that, but this was small. The grass wasn't even high, it was low grass, it was burning. Then we had incidents happening around on other farms during the night, like 12 o'clock or in the morning, because the neighbors were either drunk and sleeping, and there's fire happening right outside their window. So no one, they can not possibly be aware of this because they're drunk. And here we hear workers screaming, the workers that was also drunk. Everyone's fucking drunk on a Friday. There's a fire in the field, and Desteni Farm is the only people that can save their asses. So, 5 of us, a bunch of us jumps in, get in a car, and we run, we drive, and we go smack some fire out. This was the second incident, I'm not sure. But the first one I remember, there was a huge fire on a field away. And when we arrived, there was tractors and people, like, I don't know, 30 people or what, running and screaming and fighting fire in their pajamas, barefoot. And we were like all dressed up in blue suits with mask and gloves, and, you know, looking like one. And we were very funny. Everybody looked at us very funny. We still had hair back then, so imagine if we didn't have hair, how funny that would have looked. Like space marines coming to fight fire. Because this was our first times, you know, we weren't completely clear on it. But we did it, and we were laughing at ourselves because by the time we got there, the fire was already out. This was the first time now that there was an unexpected fire. And we realized how we were still preparing ourselves to not harm ourselves, to be not able to just set on fire randomly, and, you know, to be prepared. Everybody else that went wasn't prepared. They were barefoot, burning, falling in ditches, getting hurt and shit, fighting this huge fire that burned down lots of fields. And we came there and we were like, oh shit, we missed the whole fire. So now we're back at the one where the people was drunk. So we jumped on the bucky, we drove there, and we started beating this fire. Now this fire was big. It was like high flames, and it was also small flames. It starts small, but once it hits a bush, the fire like flames up, and you just have to smack towards it, not smack flat on it, because then some of the grass with the flames pushes out towards you. So you want to kill this fire, but also away from you, but not let it spread to the next patch of grass, because then you're just setting more grass on fire. So it's all a technique, and you have to be aware of what you're doing. And I realized how easy this was now. This was very much easy now. just breathing and directing each blow, instead of going into emotions and thoughts and feelings and all that crap while doing this. And then fighting fires became enjoyable. We couldn't wait for the next field to burn down. Now obviously this is not the attitude that you want, because for all you know you're creating the next fire. But so we stopped the fire there, and everybody was like, oh thank you, you know. And yeah, also don't drink. I mean, Jesus, people that drink on a farm and their farm sets on fire, I mean, what does it tell you about alcohol? It's putting everyone's lives at risk. It's not worth it. And the sober people, which was us, was able to take action, direct. And yeah, more fires after that came, with all the people from overseas coming with, experiencing this with us and participating within this. It's pretty awesome as a group, to work as a group within situations like that. Like, it was fun, you know. Instead of making it a bad thing or a good thing, we made it a fun thing. And meeting all the different farmers in between, like, hi, we're here helping, okay, we're doing this. Yeah, so fighting fires was quite a big thing, and we're soon entering a fire season again. So we'll see what happens now, because we got new fire beaters. The previous ones are really damaged because we left them out in the rain, which is unacceptable. So keep them in the shade where they're safe. And cannot risk having shitty firefighter beaters, because then you're risking everyone's lives and everything. It's best to be prepared. Cheerio.